welcome you on our podcast. This podcast, we decided to start with the marriage series. We are glad that we have managed to finally start this. It is going to be an interesting journey. And it's going to be fun. So we expect you people to join in, send in your comments, to, suggest certain topics with us. We actually started with the marriage series, but we're going to be moving on. We shall be doing so many other things with the series, so it's going to be interactive and fun. Yeah, to start with me, my name is Ali. You can call me Ali Wali on this podcast, and I am a married man with one daughter. Yeah, with me there are other two colleagues of mine, and they're going to introduce themselves, starting with the gentleman on the end in black. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, James. Andrew is my name. You can call me Andrew Okoche Akaboy. I'm happy to be part of this podcast. We shall be discussing real issues that affect us on a day-to-day basis regarding all the topics we shall be discussing. So I'm looking forward to it, and you're welcome to join us.
Yeah, we have another gentleman here, very serious and ready to, to share a lot. Let him also introduce himself.
Yeah, thank you, James. Stephen Mwanje is my name. You can also call me Wusinge while at work. Yeah, I'm also happy to be here discussing such a sensitive issue, and I'm so glad and eager to hear from you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's start this right. Why not? As you can see on the lower third down, right there, you see marriage without a ring. Can one stop at an intro? Small weddings. So, recently there was a clip that went viral on WhatsApp, and a gentleman was asking a certain preacher to explain the relevancy of a ring, in marriage. So we're going to also talk about that. But first and foremost, we're going to start with can one stop at the introduction ceremony? Yeah, I know this is coming up because of so many reasons, and we need to go through and digest and be sure that it is really worth it to either go ahead and do a wedding. First and foremost, Andrew, tell us, what is marriage?
Thank you so much, James. A simple definition of marriage is a union of hearts, where two hearts decide to come together with one sole intention to spend the rest of their lives together. So two people decide to live together and spend the rest of their lives together. So that is, in simple terms, to me, that's what a marriage is. That's how I'm defining it.
Okay, so Andrew, do you think one should stop at the introduction? Do you think it makes sense to stop at the introduction ceremony?
Yes. I would say yes. It's possible. Yes, someone can. Why am I saying that? Simply because it is a recognized marriage. It is recognized in our laws. It is recognized before God. We always just imagine that when we do introduction, God doesn't recognize it. No, God does. The only thing one has to do for an earthly recognition is you must register your marriage, your introduction marriage.
Yeah.
However, with ability, you can proceed to get away, because a wedding is a desire of many people. People desire, especially the ladies, they desire to have the wedding. But us being Christians, we take a wedding to be the time when we officially bring our marriages to God. Because churches don't wed unmarried people.
Yeah.
Churches wed married people. You're already married, but the church blesses you. You know?
Yeah.
Some people think that when you don't go to church, you're not married. No, the church weds married people. Yes. The church weds married.
That is very insightful,
Yes.
Steve. There is a saying that some people do actually borrow money to do wedding ceremonies. What kind of advice you give such people, and do you believe that one can still actually stop at an introduction or even have a small wedding?
Wow, thank you so much, James. Me personally, I see things from a different perspective and angle. You've started by asking me, is it really relevant or is it good for someone to borrow money to do a wedding or to do any function related to marriage? One, I normally say it depends on what someone wants. Yeah, because you might find that is someone doesn't feel any burden to borrow money to do something he or she wants. However, if you ask me, would you advise someone to borrow money? I'll say no. I can't advise you to borrow money to do a wedding. Yeah. I can't really. It doesn't really add up. If you to borrow money, you see, it's good for you to borrow money that you will invest and it brings back profits and maybe you pay.
Yeah.
So you're putting your money in something that won't bring you profit. So I wouldn't, however much you love it, but I wouldn't advise you to borrow money to do a wedding. It's better you do something that is in the reach of your means. Yeah. Something that you can afford, because there is no one that demands you a particular kind of a wedding. Yeah. Actually, it is your heart that demands you for which kind of a wedding you really want. So I believe, I don't believe that you should really borrow money to do a wedding. Secondly, I would also concur and say it is okay for someone to stop at an introduction. After all, it is one of the recognized marriages in Uganda. Previously, Papa told us that named the types of marriages recognized in the government of Uganda, and the customary marriage is one of them. So, meaning if you do the customary marriage, that's the introduction, you are already married. Therefore, you can decide to stop at there. Maybe you can do it at a later stage when you have really gained the momentum to do a wedding. I have seen people that force themselves to do things, and at the end of it all, something that was meant to be joyful then becomes sorrowful. You know, someone lives a very sorrowful marriage because they have dates. Others even become animals because they have dates of the weddings. So if you're not, you can stop at the customary marriage, and to me it is okay. Yeah,
we have had stories of people who have gotten married. I had one where after the wedding they had a debt of around 45 million. I mean, in this economy, you cannot afford that. You're going to stress someone's daughter. And also imagine enjoying for one day, and after in the first week of your marriage, at home all you can afford is Guinness and Posho. By the way, even Guinness and Posho, the prices now are increasing each day. So I believe I also wouldn't support you to to borrow money and all that. But how about a person who has money? Papa, Andrew, how about a person who has money? Would you advise them to go ahead and spend that money on a wedding?
Thank you, James. Steve has touched on something that spending money is wiser when it is getting a return.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, you may have the money. Yes, you have the resources. But this is a one-off function, really. Much as people have this desire of saying, I only do this once in my lifetime, I have to do this, it has to, it's like a showing thing, you know. Many want to just show off.
Yeah.
But a wedding is just a celebration, you know. A celebration. And in us who are born again, a celebration is not for you.
Yeah.
A celebration is for God. So why do we have to be showy before God?
Yeah.
Do something which is sensible. But today it is really getting out hand.
And actually, if every wedding that you see, there are more new things that have been introduced.
Absolutely.
And
Things
actually,
are changing. Every now and then they introduce new products
yeah,
that make the damn thing expensive.
I don't know whether you've seen this advert on WhatsApp where a man says they have cows for hire. I have heard of stories whereby people go in bonds and then they borrow cars from there just to utilize on the wedding day. And after the car is taken back to the bond. I mean, why do you think people have moved to that point whereby they want to pretend to show that, they are rich, or maybe they took a lot of things? Why do you think we are moving to that point? Why are we heading to that direction? Steve?
James, a lot of things have really changed in this kind of a setup that we are in now. Varying from how you brought up, what you have seen when you're growing up, peer pressure, groups, and all that. So many of us have now, we are not natural. We have become artificial. Like we are now doing things to impress. I began by saying, marriage is a mind thing. It's supposed to start in your mind and in your heart. You get my point. So what do you want as a person? Are you doing something for the sake of others, or you're doing something for your own sake? Who benefits in your marriage? It is you who benefits in your marriage. So you set the pace at which you want it to run. You get? I can't omuganda agamba nti amazina amayigirire oba amakopere gamenya omugongo. N'agamba nti kambukire gundi wabuukidde ogwo ogwa mu kinnya. Okitegeera? James, you're my friend. But the question is, how do you affect my life? Do you affect my life positively or negatively? Because you might be a friend who believes in a certain kind of lifestyle that I am not in. So if I want to copy your lifestyle, then I'll end up doing mistakes. Many of those people that you see who do things to impress others, the ones who go to bonds, get cars and what, they go and hire cows and every other thing. But be natural. Be natural to yourself. Be natural. Don't do what another person did. Do what your heart tells you to do. So the reason that the main cause of that is because we have actually we have ignored culture, our culture, and we have copied other cultures. You get? Buganda has its own culture. Teso has its own culture. Busoga has its own culture. Like everyone has their own cultures and beliefs, So I have to remain and stick on my culture as me, And secondly, edini. Okitegeera eddiini, like abantu babuuse ku kigambo ky'eddiini, okitegeera bagenda bakole ki ebyabwe. Kyova olaba people will start copying others, this one did this one did this. But if you remain in natural, omanyi tosobola kubuukira mulala waabuukidde. Ate papa yatugambye nti omumpi waakoma waakola ki? Waakwata. So bwe banga embaga yo ku lulwo oba omukolo gwo mu butuufu osobola miliyoni 4 oba miliyoni 5. Do what is in the reach of your means. Do that. Tosukawo tekigenda kukuyamba.
But I actually have an issue with even spending the 5 million, because for me I believe if you're to do a wedding, you have to first set up yourself well financially. We have a practice in this country. I'm going to talk about Uganda, but I believe it is also happening out there, whereby we all believe that a wedding, you must have a big ceremony. You get what I'm saying? But I have seen people who have just gone to a lawyer or to it's called what? URSB. Nibabagatta. Nibatandika obufumbo bwawe. So when like, if you're going to spend 5 million in a wedding and you don't have a business that at least on average gives you 1 million a month, then I don't believe you're ready to spend that much money in a wedding. However, one will say that people contribute. Yes, we agree, but like alone this year, I have been in over how many WhatsApp groups of wedding contributions. Like, you finish this, another one comes up. You finish this, so we find ourselves not like moving faster because we're supposed to support our friends, which is okay. Yeah, which is okay.
Anti kakati James olabe chintu ekyo nti whenever you do something basing on someone else ogenda tomera ochege number 1 gwa wasa twali akuwasiza twali akuwasiza gwa wasa bwogenda gwagenda onyumirwa obufumbo teri agenda bunyumirwa meaning gwalina okuteekamu ekingi otegere you must put in more and much than someone. And again I mean the economy is now becoming another thing.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
People are financially strained. You get so you're expecting someone to give you money to contribute money for your wedding. Nga ina mama omulwadde obanga ina omwana omulwadde no tajja otegere ekivaamu bana mugenda nyigira abantu. Let me tell you something, mugenda nyigira abantu nga gundi yeyisa bubi otegere. So papa said when you're doing something, do something that is in your means, which you can afford. You have talked about spending the 5 million. If you see, instead of spending 5 million on a wedding, invest it somewhere. It brings more money. You get. Then you do a wedding at your convenience. You get. Or you check it. You do a wedding after. I mean, tewali akugoba, tewali akukaka omukazi bamukuwa, omukazi uwo. Also muzalamu n'abaana, so are you rushing? Mmalize nga mtunyigidde mbugunte ya contribute nze ku mbaga yange. So no.
Andrew? We make a mistake as human beings. We look at a wedding as a destination, the final thing. Instead of looking at the life after the wedding as the destination. Because life after the wedding is until you die. The wedding is a one-day thing. But we concentrate on this one day.
Just hours.
Just hours. We concentrate on this one day and hours. We put in a lot. Get loans, do what? Go exhaust your savings, do everything. Now, then the reality, which is the whole life you have to live, sets in. And then what? Someone cannot push it. Problems start. You divorce. Yes. So it's better to have the destination, which is your life, in your mind when you're planning this. So have a small wedding and put your attention on the destination, which is your life after.
I'm going to ask a funny question. Who is the hardest person to advise on earth?
In that context of marriage?
Okay, for you when they ask you a question, who is the hardest person to advise?
A woman.
A woman. How about you,
Very difficult to advise.
I would say a woman, but not every woman, but a woman in love. A woman in love.
Yes.
Very good, very good. A woman in love. I know our viewers there might be saying this is a panel for only men and all that. Yeah, we're going to be having even hosting females on the panel, and we'll be discussing more things. But feel free to contribute. I can see your chats are coming through. Yeah, we shall be reading some of them. So please feel free to to send in your comment there. So, if it is a woman in love that is the hardest person to advise, that means that they are the main pace setters of the highest expenditures on a wedding. Yeah. So as a husband or as the mugoro musajja, how do you deal with such a situation? You are in a fix. You love your woman. You don't want to disappoint her. She's telling you, let us have a big wedding. What do you do? You don't have the money. What do you do?
You see, James, this is an interesting topic and it's an interesting question. I would define the marriage at the beginning as a union between two hearts that have decided to spend together their life. One thing I would like to tell you, everything you do in that context of marriage and wedding and forth on, it begins with the two of you. What is your agreement, the two of you? Because you know after the wedding, I always give an example of a wedding as a boxing ring, where two fighters are brought by supporters. Yeah. You get. When you reach the ring, the akusindika, you enter the ring and you're two in the ring. Nemwekubaba, so babera mukuwagira namuli eno babiri. Okitegere. So kati oyinza okugira ku kumanyi g'abawagizi okitegeera bagenda kumbeerawo biki kumbe bakusindiseeyo eggunde n'omusajja bwomu. So marriage is like that. It's about the two of you, because even after the wedding it will come back to the two of you. Bwaba nga wasigaddeyo ebbanja ligenda kusigala kuba biri kummwe. Now let me tell you this. Mu byobuwangwa emikolo gino ebiri gye tubala, because tubala the introduction and the wedding. Buli mukolo gulina guvunaanyizibwako. Ne bagamba nti the introduction is for the family of the woman. You get? So they set the pace of how they want their function to look like. Bakuwa n'ennamba nti we are expecting 35 visitors from your side as a man. Then after that, the wedding is done by the family of the man. That's why you find agamba nti erisindikayo emotoka baga tusindiseyo kamunye mtu agala abantu 14 tugenda okukola ki okuleeta. So kati ku mukolo gw'embaga gwenga omusajja, you as the husband, do what you can afford, because it is your part. You know, you're not impressing anyone, but it is your part. It is your responsibility to make sure that the wedding is successful. Because singa egana twagenda gamba naye bannayo mukazi oyo abantu nno wajja n'omusajja yeewanise ku mbaga gy'ataasobole atumenya. Otegeere. So I believe you as a man, see what you can afford and do what you can afford. Don't go by the pressure of your wife, because actually women tend to be on so much pressure. What happens? They now insert pressure on you. Then you also insert pressure on other people. Be you, be natural, because you know what you want.
Okay. Before we go to the ring issue, Papa, in this scenario, there is a couple. They have been cohabiting for over 5 years. Right. These people really love each other, and for them, they have decided they will not do something that they cannot afford. Yeah, but they still want to stay together, and they are going to be. They are even having children. What advice do you give them?
Yeah, it goes back to what we're talking about, because your cohabiting means either people are studying themselves before they commit into marriage, or they feel they don't have enough resources to proceed with this function.
Or they are just enjoying themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That falls under studying. So there are only those two options. Wasting each other's time. Either they are wasting themselves by studying, so-called studying, or they feel they don't have enough resources to continue for the function. That is why we are saying, get knowledge. Understand what marriage is all about. You are staying together, you are beginning to bear children. Forget about big things. Go and do something small. And you see, we are even talking about the pressures and what. These pressures, I have realized, begin from family levels. And you realize, if the pressure is high from a girl's or the lady's side, you're likely to have both an expensive intro and an expensive wedding. You see?
Yep.
Because everything will go up. So it will begin from one side. And I always encourage ladies to go and talk to their side and say, you know why the problem is, James? When these ladies go to their people, they forget that they're relating with you, the man. They say, James says he will come on this day. James says he will do this, he will do this. I always advise them against that. I always tell them, when you go to your people, don't isolate yourself from your fiancé. You want to get one. You tell them, we are coming like this. Including, combine with your man. There your parents will listen to you. Because you're involved in this thing. Tell them, we are not going to come, we are not going to bring all these things you want. We are going to do a simple introduction. We are going to do a simple wedding. There they will understand better. But girls always leave a gap. You see that? And then that's why you see other cultures where there's a lot of haggling in terms of bride price and what, it shoots up because she has isolated herself. These people are seeing the man as being himself alone. So they shoot. So I would advise those who are cohabiting, look at the easiest way. If you can do an introduction, after that register it, and the marriage is done.
And then move on. Okay. So as a parent, you would be proud of your daughter if such a thing happened and they denied you a wedding ceremony. Okuwa ku speech, mukube ku mazina, ekyalo bakutegeere nti muwala waago ndi bamututte.
I have never believed that a wedding is for parents. It has never been. A wedding is for the couple that is getting married. Parents stop at the introduction. That's where their clout is. Wedding, they're just there to hand over the girl and what. All attention is on who? On the groom and his bride. So me, I don't mind if someone says, I am bringing this man, as long as she comes and does the introduction, which is a traditional marriage. Trust me, whatever follows. Do you know something interesting? Today, many people actually wed on their introductions, but they don't know it. Because they bring their spiritual heads and what to pray for them on that day.
Yes.
So I don't understand why you proceed to church. Everything is done, they pray for you and anyway, wedding is a political thing because church does it on behalf of government. So it's a government function.
Yes.
It's very political. That's why you can't do it outside the gazetted place. Who gazettes places for weddings? Government. So it's a government function.
Yeah.
That's why it's a difficult thing. So we might be taken that we don't want weddings. No. We're just giving options on what you can do in case you cannot manage a wedding. How do you have a properly sanctioned marriage if you cannot afford a wedding?
Yeah.
Merely register your introduction and move on.
Wow.
Weddings are nice though.
Wow.
When you can afford, do it.
Steve, you're saying something.
James Katono, awo wenyini papa wabadde. I would advise, because let me tell you something. Today we are here, but tomorrow we are also becoming parents, and our daughters will bring their husbands.
We already
to us.
parents.
Okay. Tujja kula and tutuke ku stage y'abaana okutuukira ki abaami baabwe okutegeera, but parents, let us not act as if we are selling these girls. You know, you're not selling a girl, you're giving her away to marriage. You get to another family. Naye n'oleega omuntu ebintu nga mutufu buli mbukadde nga 15. Honestly, at this kind of an economy, singa gwe muzadde ne bakuleegesa.
Are you just selling your daughter? Are you just selling your daughter?
Okay, you're not selling her. Like you're blessing her to go and have a marriage. I have a scenario where someone told us a story. Bafumbira bulungi nnyo bakola introduction negwa successfully nebagenda mu wedding negwa successfully nebatandika amaka. So batandika amaka, one day, you know, the things of my parents wants to come and see where we stay, they want to osegera. So now I'm okay, my parents are coming. We need to prepare for them. They are coming, my father, my mother, and some 2 uncles of ours. They really want to come and see where we stay and all that. Okay, no problem, let them come. You get my point? They came, and when they reached, omusajja yagula bijanjaalo na kawunga. Bali ebyo. Naga sina sente. So omukazi government was serious. Otandika otya okunyembalasinga before my people. How can they eat beans? That to eat, nambuza, what do you want them to eat? Chicken, meat, mchere, good treat. Nagamba, okay, Kali, sorry for that. So a turn came for the husband's parents to come and do what? And visit. So when they reached, the guy bought chicken, meat, every other good thing. Now this woman was really a well-disciplined wife who respects the husband. She didn't say anything. Again, no, she didn't. Abafumbira ne balya bamaliriza okulya ne bagenda. Nadda mu kisenge kyange ne mwami. Why did you have to embarrass me like that? My parents came, you bought beans and a portion. Your parents have come, you bought each and every other thing. namugamba, hey, let me tell you something, sweetheart. When we were going for an introduction, bazadde bo baatuleega ebintu bingi nnyo. We tried to explain to them that we didn't have money, and they refused. But because I loved you, I had to maneuver and borrow money. Even up to now, I'm still paying loans. You get? They asked us for cows, goats, nkoko, many other things. Now let them eat what they receive. You get? So you see that dilemma you put your daughters in.
Yeah.
You might not know, but you're putting your daughter in a hard marriage. You get? In an abusive marriage. Because if the husband comes in marriage, in home with such a mentality that your parents mistreated me, then she might also mistreat you or mistreat the parents.
Yeah.
You get? Yeah.
So, kati awo nyini mane mwebale ku exhaustinga. Thank you for all those explanations. Now, one day I was in a taxi. I think on the Nigeria route that goes to Naria route that goes to Ntinda, and then someone, I can see people are calling me. Please use the chats. Please use the chats. Then someone, a couple stopped a taxi. They wanted to board. It was a woman and a man. And when the conductor opened the door, omukyala n'agamba bawe empeta nga togyambadde ddayo ogiteekeko. So this couple ended up not boarding the taxi. Is a ring really that relevant, Papa Andrew? Is a ring really that relevant? Can't I be married without a ring?
James. This ring thing is fairly new by the way. Back in the day of great grandparents, there were no rings. What, they married? It's not a finger that should be ringed. It should be a heart that is ringed. Because this thing which is seen here on the finger can be removed. You know? So putting too much emphasis on the physical one makes someone lose the plot. Now, like the example you're giving, that woman's concentration is on the physical. Because she believes when she moves with the husband and he has the ring on his finger, she has a ring, it will be easily related that this guy is married. Yes. And then that safeguards her. But what if he's moving alone? Are you going to be there? No. He will remove that ring and do anything he wants. So to me, it's not the physical ring on the finger that matters. It doesn't matter. With or without it, someone is married. Yeah. If you remove it, does it make you unmarried? No. You remain married. So it is the ring in the heart that matters. Because the union was in the heart. It wasn't in the finger. The finger was just a symbol of what is in the heart. So, in my opinion, this physical one, people should not put a lot of emphasis on the physical one. But the ring in the heart is what matters. Because the commitment is in the heart. It's not on the finger. It's in the heart. The finger just helps us to demonstrate what is in the heart or to show what is there. But the one that really makes sense is the ring in the heart. Yeah.
Okay, that is beautiful. I can see some of you are texting me via WhatsApp, but we shall be using the YouTube official chat line to be able to discuss most of these things. Steve, for you, what does a ring mean to you? And by the way, let me ask you, do you think a ring is comfortable? Like when you put it on the hand, do you think a ring is comfortable? And do you think one can still be faithful without having a ring?
James, a ring is an outward sign of marriage. Papa said it. It is an outward sign of marriage. Actually, you are trying to announce and advertise yourself that you're off the shelves. You get? that you were taken. Another thing here is, or another question here, do married people still respect rings or not? One. Do the unmarried people respect rings or not at the moment? Because you might find that people have got a slogan of saying, a ring is just like a metal that is put on your finger. You get my point? So in a gamano kaba feyo kubantu oli mufumbo tebitulia nawe. Tebitulia. Ostegeya. So what does it mean? It is your heart. It is your heart. Papa said it clear that you have to ring your heart. You get?
Yes.
If I am not faithful, even when I am putting on a ring, I will not be faithful. So, because the ring I am putting on doesn't have a camera that it will show where I have gone and where I am. You get? If I want to do silly things, I'll put off the ring, I leave it in the car, I enter a hotel room. And what will show that I'm married? And let me tell you something. Some other just put rings. Whatever they come, just for the sake.
And who is not even married?
Because if someone says a ring, now I will say, this is what I can say, that someone can be married without a ring. Now there are two things here which we need to clarify to the viewers. When we talk about marriage without a ring, what do we mean? Do we mean you being married but you don't move with your ring, or you being married yet you're not wedded? Because those are also two things. You can be married
Not wedded.
and not wedded. And of course, when you're not wedded, you won't have a ring. There is when you're married, but when you're moving out, going anywhere, you don't have a ring. So you need to clarify. But according to what I am understanding that we're talking about is, even when I am out and I don't have my ring and I am married, I will remain married. It will not go away. So my marriage, my set of being married is not dependent on whether I'm putting on or I'm not putting on a ring. You get my point? So whenever you go, the world knows, because when you go to church, there is a witness of many people. You get my point? There is a witness of many people who know that you are really married. And maybe once in a while someone says you with your ring. But let me talk briefly about that woman, about that incident. Number one, that woman was too disrespectful.
How?
You can't stand in public and start questioning your husband why he is not putting on a ring. The question is, why are you just seeing him now? Didn't you see him when you were getting out of the house? Secondly, she is irresponsible to the fact that you can only identify that your husband doesn't have a ring in public when you're boarding a taxi.
Kati yo mwami tumuyite ki kuba naye teyajambala.
No, kati abasajja, you know, sagala kubele, but men, we are naturally passive. Let me say that. There are so many things you have to be reminding us as you are wives. If I am moving out of the house and you realize I'm not putting on a ring, you get my ring, give it to me. Do you know that there are some men, unless you're telling me that we are putting on this kind of rings where you don't remove it when you're home, but the rings we put on these days,
naye abasajja empeta zitumenya nnyo, abakazi ezaabwe zibeerako balwaki
n'ogiteeka wali ebbali. Kakati gwe olina w'omanyi w'oteeka empeta yo, the moment it is misplaced, ogenda gyerabira. Ekisooka, you have a lot of things on your head. You're going out of the house, you're late, ebizigo tobyesize, ne breakfast ogiridde ogyerabidde, okitegeera. You can't remember a ring, okitegeera. So it is your wife to remind you. Moreover, you're moving out together. Ne muva gye muvudde ne mulinya boda baabo paka ku taxi n'otuuka n'olyoka ogamba omuntu oyambadde empeta ddayo gyambale. No, kyali tekikola makulu okitegeera as in mugende mugende bwemuba naye mwami oli watambula tolina mpeta kiki munalina gyerabidde. You have to put respect in everything that we do. Again, you're trying to show the public that you're authoritative as a woman. So you you can even command your husband to go back home and to put on a ring.
Andrew, omukazi oyo omulowoleza ki? Yali disrespectful kweri? Ate omusajja naye teyalagamu ku bugayaavu. Mukazi mukulu Mwanje agambye nti women are supposed to like be there for their husbands. You remind them because men are passive. Do you believe men are passive?
The truth is, we have so many things we're thinking about. And that thinking about so many things comes from the fact that...
just a moment. Yes. The women will also say they have also many things they are thinking about.
Yes. And I'm explaining why we are thinking about so many things. We are the ones considered the providers. So we take care of more things than them, including them, because we take care of them as well. So, honestly speaking, that's number one. Number two, I am yet to meet a man who is very passionate about rings. Men may not be very passionate about rings. They put the ring on because it's a duty, but they're not things that they really they enjoy your treasure so much. Yeah. So I agree 100%. That woman in public, you order your husband to do what? To go back home and put on a ring? Hell no. That is not acceptable. Completely. Honestly, maybe she didn't want to go. Honestly.
How do you punish such a person? How do you punish them?
No. What happens? You can't punish. But the truth is, you take a stand as a man. Me forgetting my ring at home doesn't make me unmarried. Me forgetting my ring at home should not make me fail to get to my destination that I set out from home, by the way. Why do I fail to reach where I was going just because of a ring?
Or reaching late.
Or reaching late. Is the ring going to pay the transport? What is the ring going to do? Yeah, what's the ring going to do? The fact that I know I am married, with or without a ring, I don't have to mind about anything. I will go, I will come back. I will give you my personal experience. My wife lost her uncle, actually Tata Mukuru, because he was older than her dad. And we were how many years? I think we were a few months. Have we made a year? Perhaps in marriage. And then we went to bury. I forgot my ring. I think we were just a few months. I didn't even realize I had no ring. I never realized it. So you imagine you're going to your uncle, you don't have a ring.
Yeah.
Just
months I forgot it. Single. But the thing is, she's the one who told me. And how did she come to know? Other people, her relatives would say, hey mom, the man does it. But now the guy doesn't even have his ring on, what. But they couldn't tell me, of course. She's the one who came and told me, but you know you forgot your ring? That's when I looked at her, I'm like, hey, I didn't carry this thing. I told her, I forgot it. So it's not about a ring. It's about the commitment. Right? So she wasn't right to do that. Number one. Number two, let me tell you, respecting a man on the side of a woman is a given. It is a must. You can't order your master, because we're masters of women. How do you order your master around? How does that work? Your master is your master. But a master can be reminded, a master can be advised, but a master cannot be ordered. Yes. You can politely tell him wherever you have reached, say, hey, by the way, you know you forgot your ring at home. Yes. But order him to turn back. No.
That's bad.
That is bad.
Oh,
then James Katono.
Okay, as we conclude, yeah.
Yeah. You see, there's what the Bible calls the women or the wives. What does it call them? Helpers. So when we talk about a helper, there is no any weak person that can help a strong person. In most cases, the strong person helps the weak person. So if I am weak in remembering my things, aring, it is your mandate or your duty to remind me. You get? So you help me.
Get out of that weakness.
You always help me to get out of that weakness. It is consistent. You don't get tired. You keep helping, because you're my helper. You get? That's what the Bible calls our wives. So the best thing that woman was supposed to do is to help her husband to get out of that kind of a problem of forgetiasis. Yes.
Okay, we thank you very much. Tubebaza, those who have managed to watch the stream, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. We're going to be sharing a lot together as we move on. We shall move together all together in this journey, and it's going to become more interesting. We shall also be having the ladies on the panel to discuss different professionals, and if you're interested in being hosted, you can always send us a message, and then we will see how we can host you. Yeah. Even when you have questions, you can post them on the chat. We will be able to, if we don't react to them like now in this live stream, we can always react to them maybe in the next one. We believe to be coming up with another very nice topic that is about men growing old, because we had I read a tweet recently of a doctor who works at a certain hospital saying that out of 10 old men, these are men who have been married with children and all that, it is only one who turned up with a caretaker, and it only happened because the hospital insisted on him coming with one. Most of the old men find themselves alone in the hospitals, as compared to the women who usually come with almost everyone in the family to take care of them. So the question is, why are men neglected when they are old? So we're going to be discussing that. And I believe we shall have a lady on the panel to tell us whether that is correct or true, and what leads to it. Why do men do what? Why do women do it? Yes. That would be the first question to ask. So as we sign out, maybe Andrew or Steve, do you have any parting word for our viewers?
Yeah, thank you.
Briefly, in like a few seconds.
Thank you, James. And thank you for our viewers that have been watching us. One thing I can tell you is, or encourage you is, guys, get married. Marriage is sweet, and it is a recommendation from God. You know, the Bible says that whoever finds a wife finds favor before God.
Yeah.
So if you want to find favor before God, marry. But marry right. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Andrew.
Marriage is a good thing. I encourage men. Let me tell you, God gives us tasks, and after giving you a task, He gives you a helper. Find your helper, and don't let them leave you. You can only have them permanently if you marry them. But like Steve says, marry right. Because as the Nigerians say, if you don't marry a wife, you may marry a knife. Avoid marrying knives. You marry a wife. Yes. So, and let marriage not be a traumatic experience. Because where things are expensive, a lot is demanded from you, that becomes traumatic to a man. But if flow and let the thing go smoothly, let it be a process that is enjoyed by everybody. And when you start it like that, it goes on well.
Thank you very much. That is going to be the end of our podcast. And my parting advice is, omusajja tokuba mukazi, omukazi tokuba musajja, tovuma bbaawo, omu ku mmwe alina okubeera omusiru okusorting out issues z'ewaka.
So you are starting another.
Yeah, I'm not.
Mugambe omusajja tokuba mukazi, omukazi tokuba musajja mugongo.
omukazi tokuba musajja mugongo. In conclusion, omukazi ng'oli mufumbo kasuka leegi.
James, you have said something which is interesting.
We have to sign out.
Yes, just in 1 minute.
Eh.
When your parting short says omusajja tokuba mukazi. My advice on that one is women stop provoking your husband. Most beatings women receive is because
But
of
you guys, that's
provocation.
another topic.
But that's another topic for another day. Let's not get into
No,
that.
just a
one.
piece of advice.
that was just a piece
Tumanya afumbo tulina okubakola ki okubawa kwa advice so that wetukomerawo nga tetunaba byogerako already balinayo ekiyinza okukola ki okuba guiding kale. Thank you very much for tuning in, and for those who are just going to watch the recorded one, please like this video and subscribe to the channel because it's going to be an interesting journey. Bye bye, ciao.